So talking trash while playing Call of Duty sort of leads to this 15-year-old kid becoming a multimillionaire. Let me explain. His name is Ellis Pinsky, and this starts when Ellis is just 13 years old, living in a comfortable middle-class home in Irvington, New York. It's a pleasant suburban town about 20 miles north of Manhattan along the Hudson River, the kind of place where parents move to give their kids good schools and safe streets. Ellis is a normal teenager in most ways. He's smart, goes to a good school, and like millions of other kids his age, he loves playing video games. His mom is a real estate broker who worked hard to provide for him after his parents divorced. By all outward appearances, Ellis is just your average middle-class kid from the suburbs. But one day, around 16, he's playing Call of Duty, ghosts online, trash talking with other players like teenagers do. You know, the usual immature stuff. I'm doing your mom, or whatever offensive garbage they say to each other. It's just another day of gaming for Ellis. Then something happens that changes everything. One of the guys he's talking trash to suddenly comes back and says, "Yo, how's the weather in Irvington?" Which is exactly where Ellis lives. Ellis freezes. His heart starts racing. Wait, what? How does this guy suddenly know where I live? Turns out this random troll just used a free program to figure out Ellis's IP address. It's not really all that complex. Basically, when you're connected to online gaming servers, your IP address is visible to others with the right tools. With that IP, the troll was able to geolocate Ellis to his hometown. Simple, but to a 13-year-old kid, it seemed like mind-blowing, scary hacker magic. From that moment on, Ellis becomes fascinated with this ability to track down people's information. For the next few months, Ellis studies this extensively. He spends hours after school hunched over his computer, reading forums, watching tutorials, and teaching himself the basics of network security, information gathering, and social engineering. He's not just playing around. He's developing a genuine passion and aptitude for understanding how digital systems work and how they can be exploited. He starts learning actual hacking skills. Nothing too sophisticated at first, but he's dedicated. When other kids are hanging out at the mall or going to movies, Ellis is deep in online forums, absorbing everything he can about cybersecurity vulnerabilities. Eventually, he joins an online hacking group. These aren't the stereotypical basement-dwelling hackers you see in movies. Many are teenagers just like him, sharing tips and tricks across encrypted messaging platforms. Some are doing it for the challenge, others for bragging rights, but increasingly, many are in it for the money. It's in this digital underworld that Ellis learns a skill that's going to make him a bit of money: how to steal people's username handles on Twitter and Instagram. Now, this probably sounds stupid to most adults. Like, who cares about a username? But there's actually serious money in this, because if you own the Instagram handle like at John, then every person named John is going to buy it from you. Single word usernames, first names, common words. These can sell for thousands of dollars in underground markets. So Ellis learns how to hack people's accounts and steal their valuable handles. He sells them to willing buyers and starts making a little money on the side, a few $1,000s at a time. For a 14-year-old kid, this is incredible money. He could buy whatever video games he wants, nice clothes, and still have cash left over without having to explain to his mom where the money is coming from. But Ellis is ambitious. He's smart enough to realize that there's a ceiling to this hustle. A few $1,000s at a time just isn't enough for him. He wants more. Through his hacker group connections, Ellis learns about a way to make millions called SIM swapping. And it works like this. Basically, you identify someone working at a phone store like an AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile location. You call them or approach them directly and get them to link someone else's SIM card to your phone number. Once you do that, you essentially have access to everything their phone is connected to: their email accounts, crypto wallets, sometimes even their bank accounts. Why? Because most of our digital security depends on two-factor authentication sent by text message. When you control someone's phone number, you can reset passwords, bypass security, and gain access to their entire digital life. Ellis starts combing through social media, looking for anyone who posts about working at a cell phone carrier store. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, they're all gold mines for finding these employees. Once he identifies a potential insider, he reaches out to them and offers to pay them to connect someone else's SIM card to a phone number he controls. And surprisingly, or maybe not so surprisingly, a ton of these cell phone carrier workers say, all right, for a few $100s, sometimes $1,000, they're willing to break company policy and potentially the law. The going rate for these employees was typically between $500 to $2,000 per SIM swap. Pocket change compared to what Ellis could potentially steal, but nice bonus for a retail worker making slightly above minimum wage. Ellis would choose his targets carefully, focusing on people who appeared wealthy and likely to have substantial cryptocurrency holdings. He does this scam for a while, honing his skills, learning what works and what doesn't. Each successful SIM swap teaches him more about digital security or the lack thereof. He's becoming increasingly sophisticated and dangerous. Then one day in 2018, Ellis is now 15 years old. Someone from his hacker group reaches out to him specifically to hack this dude, Michael Turpin. Turpin isn't just anyone. He's an older, rich guy who's apparently nearly a billionaire. He has some kind of connection to early internet companies and was heavily involved in cryptocurrency. Turpin wasn't chosen at random. He was a high-profile target in the crypto world, an investor, entrepreneur, and founder of BitAngels, one of the first angel investor groups for cryptocurrency startups. He was known to hold significant amounts of various cryptocurrencies and was vocal about his investments online. Ellis agrees to hack Turpin. It's a big target, but by now, he's confident in his abilities. The next day, he hits up one of his contacts who works at an AT&T phone store in Connecticut. That contact ports Turpin's SIM card to a phone Ellis can access. And boom, he's in. So he and the other hacker start searching through all of Turpin's digital accounts. And that's when they find an email account with a file that holds the keys to a bunch of cryptocurrency wallets. It's the digital equivalent of finding the combination to someone's safe. Then Ellis and the other hacker start opening up these wallets, and they unlock one that has roughly $24 million worth of cryptocurrency in it. $24 million. Jackpot. For a moment, Ellis just stares at the screen. $24 million. You know, he's kind of a turd himself, but he does help launder the money, and he makes sure to keep around $1 million of that money for himself because, you know, he's just that kind of guy. Regardless, the heist is officially complete. Ellis and the other hackers split the bulk of the loot, and Ellis ends up with close to $10 million worth of cryptocurrency. $10 million. At 15 years old. Meanwhile, Michael Turpin ain't no dummy. Pretty quickly, he realizes that $24 million in cryptocurrency is missing from his wallets. And bro is pissed. This isn't some corporation's money or an insurance company's problem. This is his personal wealth that just vanished. He vows to figure out who did this to him and take them down. Turpin launches his own investigation, hiring private security experts and reaching out to law enforcement. He also files a massive $224 million lawsuit against AT&T in August 2018, claiming the company's negligence led to the theft of his digital assets. The lawsuit was unprecedented, one of the largest ever filed against a telecommunications company for a security breach. Turpin accused AT&T of gross negligence, arguing that the company's employees were complicit in the SIM swap that led to the theft. But finding the actual hackers who stole his crypto proves more difficult. These kids are operating across state lines, using VPNs, encrypted messaging, and cryptocurrency. All tools that make tracking challenging even for experienced investigators. Now, being that Ellis is only 15 years old, he's not going to invest all this new wealth he just got. He's not going to get a 401k or diversify his bonds. The laundry. He allegedly starts wearing Louis Vuitton and Supreme brand clothing. He allegedly starts driving an Audi R8, a $200,000 supercar, even though he doesn't even have a driver's license yet. And he starts renting private jets to fly to different places with his friends. Here's actually a picture of him popping bottles at a club that I guess lets 15-year-olds in. I'm not really sure how he got in, but he's in. Regardless, he's having fun. And $10 million is a lot of money. And even though he stole it, to his credit, he's pretty sure that this was his last score. After this, no more hacking, no more SIM swapping. After this, he is done. He's set for life, or so he thinks. Meanwhile, Nick Truglia, he took his part of the money, and he's been living it up too. Here he is popping bottles at the club. Here he is on a private jet. Here he is on a different private jet. Here he is tweeting about his new diamond watch. Here he is just standing there, just looking rich as fuck. As you can see, these guys are living it up, and it seems like they're going to get away with all this. Until Nick screws it all up. See, bro isn't the most covert person in the world when it comes to keeping his crimes a secret. Like, here he is tweeting, just a reminder that I simmed swapped my own dad. And here he tweets, stole 24 million but can't keep a friend. And stole 24 million but can't stay away for drugs. Stole 24 million, still a failure in the eyes of the world. Stole 24 million, still can't stop stealing. Yeah, bro really needs to stop. Not to mention, Nick has no real job, yet he appears to the outside world to live this lavish lifestyle, and people around him definitely start to notice this. Like, damn, how's he getting all this money? And so eventually, he gets on the radar of a federal task force whose job it is to investigate these kinds of crimes. The Regional Enforcement Allied Computer Team, REACT, a specialized cybercrime task force in California, starts looking into a series of SIM swap attacks. They start investigating him for a different $1 million SIM swapping heist. And bam, they arrest him in November 2018. Here's his mugshot. And because they're investigating him for this, they search his iCloud backup file, and through this, they connect him to the $24 million in cryptocurrency that he and Ellis stole from Turpin. Now, from here, I don't know if Nick flips on Ellis. I mean, he probably does. I actually don't think they were very close friends in real life. I think they're just two hackers who happen to know each other. But what I do know is that somehow Turpin, the older rich guy, he learns that Ellis was one of the ones who stole all this money from him, and he definitely isn't going to let that slide. So, a few months later, Ellis's mom randomly gets an email, and it's from Turpin's lawyer, and it's all about the crypto heist, and it accuses her son, Ellis, of being the mastermind behind it, and he's threatening to sue. Imagine being Ellis's mom at this moment. You think your son is just a normal high school kid, maybe a bit tech savvy. Then suddenly, you're being told he's stolen millions in cryptocurrency from a wealthy businessman. It must have been absolutely shocking. So Ellis's mom, she goes to Ellis, and they get a lawyer, and they come up with a plan for Ellis to cooperate. So Ellis, he ends up cooperating with the federal authorities. He pleads guilty to wire fraud to try and get a lesser charge. He also tries to settle things with Turpin. He gives back everything he has left from the heist. 562 Bitcoin, the $50,000 watch, the $100,000 in cash that he kept under his bed. But you know what? Turpin sues him anyway. I mean, yeah, I would too if someone stole $24 million from me, regardless of their age. In May 2019, federal agents arrested Ellis at his home in Irvington. Now 16, he was charged as a juvenile. The case proceeded largely in secret because of his age, but court documents later revealed that he faced serious federal charges related to the hack. Turpin filed a civil lawsuit against Ellis in May 2020, seeking $71.4 million in damages, triple the amount of cryptocurrency stolen. In the lawsuit, he called Ellis a brazen young man who led a cunning, sophisticated, multi-state scheme to defraud him. Ellis's attorneys responded by portraying him as a naive teenager who got caught up with the wrong crowd online. They argued that he had been manipulated by older hackers and didn't fully understand the consequences of his actions. At the end of it all, Nicholas Truglia gets sentenced to 18 months in federal prison after pleading guilty to conspiracy to commit wire fraud. The court also orders him to pay $20 million in restitution. Ellis, on the other hand, he actually gets no prison time because he cooperated with the federal authorities and also because he was only 15 at the time of the crime. The juvenile justice system tends to focus on rehabilitation rather than punishment, especially for first-time offenders. So bro stole $24 million, and he gets no prison time. Lucky bastard. In 2021, the civil case between Turpin and Ellis was settled for an undisclosed amount. As part of the settlement, Ellis issued a public apology, stating, "I was wrong to engage in this activity and apologize to Mr. Turpin for the harm I've caused him." I do not have any cryptocurrencies or other stolen funds. I will cooperate with Mr. Turpin and law enforcement to recover the funds that remain. Meanwhile, Turpin's lawsuit against AT&T continued to work its way through the courts. In 2020, a judge dismissed AT&T's motion to dismiss the case, allowing it to proceed. Turpin has become an outspoken advocate for better security practices at telecommunications companies, pushing for legislation to prevent SIM swapping attacks. So where are they now? Nicholas Truglia served his prison sentence and was released. He still owes millions in restitution that he'll likely never be able to repay. Michael Turpin continues his crusade against SIM swapping. He founded a coalition called SIM Swap Attack Prevention, bringing together victims and security experts to advocate for better protections. And Ellis Pinsky? After the case concluded, he kept a low profile. No more private jets or $50,000 watches. He graduated high school and, according to some reports, enrolled in college to study computer science. Some speculate that he might eventually work in cybersecurity, using his skills to protect systems rather than exploit them. It's a remarkable story, how a trash-talking session in Call of Duty led a 15-year-old kid to steal $24 million, become temporarily rich beyond his wildest dreams, and then lose it all. It's a cautionary tale about the digital world we live in, where teenagers in bedrooms can commit crimes of a scale once reserved for sophisticated criminal organizations. In the end, Ellis didn't get jail time, but he didn't really get away with it either. He had to return everything, face legal consequences, and have his name forever associated with one of the biggest cryptocurrency heists in history. As for the rest of us, maybe think twice about what information you're sharing online. Enable non-SMS two-factor authentication whenever possible. And remember that sometimes the biggest threats to our digital security come from places we'd least expect, like a 15-year-old kid with too much time on his hands and not enough supervision.